Darts ban, a trans champion's heartbreak. The DRA's policy fuels a fight for inclusion. The recent decision by the Darts Regulatory Authority DRA to ban trans women from women's darts competitions has ignited a fierce backlash, exemplified by the impassioned response of Dutch champion Nolin van Leuven. This strategic pivot, driven by developmental biologists' assessment of purported sex differences in the sport, represents a significant challenge to inclusivity and competitive fairness within the global sporting landscape, demanding immediate and nuanced consideration.
The situation underscores a broader, escalating conflict between scientific interpretation and the fundamental rights of athletes, particularly within the context of rapidly evolving understandings of gender and athleticism. The implications extend beyond professional darts, potentially setting a dangerous precedent for other sports organizations grappling with similar questions of athlete eligibility.
The erosion of competitive opportunity. The so what? A crisis in sporting inclusion. The DRA's policy, informed by Dr.
Emma Hilton's research emphasizing multiple, small-magnitude sex differences, precipitates a critical juncture for the trans community and the sport of darts itself. The move, ostensibly intended to ensure competitive equity, inadvertently creates a system of exclusion predicated on a contested and increasingly debated scientific framework.
The underlying drivers of this shift are multifaceted, encompassing anxieties surrounding athletic performance, the influence of activist groups advocating for trans inclusion, and the broader geopolitical context of evolving societal attitudes towards gender identity. The immediate consequence is the denial of competitive opportunity for Van Leuven and potentially other trans women, while simultaneously fueling a narrative of discrimination and marginalization within a sport previously perceived as relatively inclusive.
Strategic deep dive, data, players, and disproportionate impact. The draft of exclusion, analyzing the policy's mechanics. The DRA's decision, built upon Dr. Hilton's research, hinges on the assertion of male advantage over females in darts due to accumulated small-magnitude sex differences.
This framework, however, relies on a contested methodology. The precise measurement and interpretation of these differences remain highly debated within the scientific community, particularly regarding the potential for methodological bias. The policy's implementation directly impacts Van Leuven, stripping her of opportunities within the PDC Women's Series, where she achieved 6 titles.
Simultaneously, the policy echoes recent actions by the International Olympic Committee (IOC), further amplifying the perception of trans athletes as subjects of scrutiny and exclusion. The decision highlights a troubling trend: the application of potentially flawed scientific interpretations to justify discriminatory practices, particularly when considering the disproportionate impact on a vulnerable population.
The situation necessitates a critical re-evaluation of the criteria used to define fairness in competitive sports.
Verdict and projection, a precarious path forward. Strategic verdict, a battle for recognition and future competition. The DRA's policy represents a tactical misstep, driven by a premature and potentially flawed interpretation of scientific data, and fueled by an overreaction to broader societal anxieties. The immediate consequence is a legal and reputational crisis for the organization, compounded by the public outcry generated by Van Leuven's heartbreaking video.
Looking forward, the scenario presents significant risks, including increased legal challenges and further fragmentation within the sporting community. However, the situation also presents an opportunity for a more nuanced and evidence-based approach to athlete eligibility, one that prioritizes inclusivity and avoids perpetuating discriminatory practices.
Strategic next steps involve engaging in open dialogue with scientific experts, trans athletes, and relevant stakeholders to develop a framework that balances competitive fairness with the fundamental right to participate in sport, recognizing the evolving understanding of gender and its impact on athletic performance.